Claude Opus 5 just launched, and it's already been called one of the strongest AI coding models ever released. But OpenAI's GPT-5.6 is also here, and now we finally have a proper head-to-head. So today I'm giving both models the exact same prompts and making them build 3 completely different applications: a product clone, a viral internet experiment, and a complete AI business. Same prompt, same rules, one shot, no revisions, no extra help from me. Everything you see was created by the models themselves. This is Opus 5 versus GPT 5.6. Let's see which one actually wins. The first test is about replication, because building something from scratch is one thing, but recreating a product that already exists is much harder. And small details matter: the layout, the interactions, the animations, the user experience. So for the first challenge, both models are going to clone a real SaaS product. I chose Linear because it's one of the best designed productivity apps out. So the goal is to create a working version of Linear. Not a screenshot, not a landing page, functional application. And here is the exact prompt I gave both models. Let's start with GPT 5.6. And for the settings, I'm going to set both of these to medium thinking. And let's kick that one off. Now inside of Claude Code, I'm using Opus 5, and I'm going to paste the same prompt and kick that one off too. So while these are running, the first thing I noticed is the difference in approach, because Opus 5 immediately starts breaking down the application, and GPT 5.6 is also analyzing the structure. But the interesting part is seeing what decisions each model makes without any additional guidance, because remember, it's the same prompt, the same task, but different AI. The results are in, so let's start with Opus 5. And at first glance, it looks impressive. The design is polished. It's got all the sections that I asked it to include inside of the main prompt. The dark theme works. The navigation is there. I don't see any broken links. Now let's test the application to see if there are any gaps. So I'm going to create a new issue here. Fix the database. The database is broken. And yeah, everything looks functional. I can assign it to myself or anybody else in the team. I can give it a priority, and I can change the status of this task. There's also labels here. I can assign it to various types of projects. There's an estimation here and a due date. So let's see if I can actually create this. And yeah, it's there. Fix the database. Here it is. So far so good. And the task I created is inside of the active section, so I can see it here as well. I can also look at backlog. So these are obviously dummy tasks that Opus 5 has actually created. I can also create more projects here. Test project name. Let's see if I can assign this to another member of my team. If I go back into projects, you can see it. It's this one here. And as before, I can assign it a new issue, tag some members, create labels, and do everything that I just did earlier. So all in all, I'd say yes, it's met the brief. It does everything I can see and look and feel of what I asked it to do. And there aren't any obvious issues. Now let's look at GPT 5.6. And the layout looks more or less the same as Open 5. The dark mode works really well, and the actual navigation, the layout is more or less the same as Open. But what I have noticed is there's less navigation option on the left hand side. So I can access core experiences and create a new issue. So let's test that. Fix the database. And let's see if the options actually work. So I'll keep that in to do. I'll give an urgent priority. Let's keep that under core experience. AV, which I'm not sure what this is relating to. It could be the point system that we saw on 5. And this is the actual project. Let's create the issue and let's see if it comes up. So in the core experience, we've got the issue that I've just created. You can see that here. So in terms of the interactions, it's about the same as Opus, but there's less options. There's less navigation on the left-hand side, and both language models have absolutely met the brief. So the first test was about copying. But copying is easier because the model has something to reference. But the second test is completely different. This time, there is no existing product. The AI has to create something from nothing. So I gave both models a challenge inspired by companies like Mischief. I'm going to create a viral internet stunt. So they need to come up with the idea, design the experience, build a website, make something people would actually share. Let's head back into GPT 5.6, and here's the prompt I'm going to give it for the viral internet product launch. And I'm going to kick that one off. I'm inside of Claude Code with Opus 5, and I'll do exactly the same thing with the exact same prompt. And let's see how both do. The results are in, so let's take a look at Opus 5 first, and it created this spiral concept. So this is about sending a message to somebody, could be late at night, and you actually regret it. So spiral reconstructs every thought you'll have about it before sunrise, plots the descent, and hands you a report that you can show people instead of explaining yourself. I want to paste in this message, which is: I had a really nice time the other night and I've been thinking about it a lot. Anyway, I don't want to make it weird, no pressure at all. If you'd rather leave it, talk soon. And let's say I sent it to Jenny. Now let's run a trace. Let's see how this app actually works. But the interesting thing here is the creativity. I really love this spiral concept with the different colors. And it actually gives you a potential future of what might have happened. So the message is sent to Jenny. There's no going back. She's read it, and it has the read for 11 minutes. Then you ended up with a full stop, not a question mark, a full stop. That is a door being closed politely. No worries if not is a trap door you built and then stood on. And yeah, you can see how it spirals out of control. It's a really interesting concept actually. And so it's given me a trace report, which is a depth of 23, which is their internal rating system. Descent time is 7.5 hours. Escalation is about 80%. And the diagnosis is usually fast escalation. You skip doubt entirely and opened at investigation, which suggests practice. You can download the card, you can copy the summary, or you can run another trace. And so this concept is, it doesn't guess, right? It reads what you actually typed and holds it against you. And there's some placeholders as well if you don't know what to type, and send to Spiral. I like the pricing that is done at the bottom here. This is a really interesting way of marketing your application. And the experience feels very intentional. Now for GPT 5.6. And this is where it gets very interesting because instantly this experience jumps out. It really grabs my attention. It hasn't used dark mode like Opus did. And it's created this application called Patched, which is your personality has updates. 5 strange questions, 1 brutally specific set of patch notes, no account, no therapy voice, no data retained. And yeah, overall, I really like the concept. It's done a really interesting job here. So let's see if the application works. So the first question is, the group chat has 87 unread messages. Your next move is permanent. And then it's giving you these 4 options. Let me just go with the first one here. Second one is you have exactly 14% battery, no charger, 3 hours left. What do you do next? And the one that I like is, yeah, brightness stays at 100%. That's the kind of personality that I am. That's the kind of guy I am. So yeah, let's see what that comes back with. So a menu has 46 options. The waiter has already returned twice. So what do you do? Build a private spreadsheet? I don't think so. Copy the most confident person? That's not really me. And yeah, same things I always get. I know what I like, so let's go with that one. Someone says, we need to talk. Choose your loading screen. Yeah, I'd probably say sure. And lastly, pick an emergency personality. This will be installed after the restart. Yeah, I'd say I'm unreasonably confident. So let's see what that comes back with. So you have been successfully patched, and the outcome is boldly underqualified, weirdly effective. You treat uncertainty like a door that probably says pull. Momentum is your favorite source of evidence. Known issue says you too when the waiter says enjoy your meal. Yeah, I probably would say that. And so the question is, would people care? Is this something that you would send to a friend? Would somebody talk about it? And the answer is yeah, I think it's a really interesting concept. I definitely like the design layout, and with a bit more work, I think we have something on our hands here. For the final test, I wanted to remove almost all constraints because this is where AI agents become interesting. In the real world, you don't tell an AI exactly what every button should do. You give it a goal and you expect it to figure things out. So this time, both models have to build an AI business platform. The goal is to create something that feels like a real SaaS product businesses would pay for. So let's kick this off with GPT 5.6 first. Here's the very basic prompt. I haven't really been that specific about what I want. It's quite vague. And then I'll do the same for Opus 5 inside of Claude Code. And let's see what they come back. Let's start with Opus 5 first. And this is what it's built. It's called Cardinal. And on first impressions, I really like it. I like the color scheme. I like that I can see everything quickly. And it's in light mode, which is really interesting. And all the links here on the left-hand side, the navigation bar actually works. So this is campaigns, and you can see all the different campaigns here for Meta, for Google, for TikTok. You've got the budget planner here as well, so if you want to change any of this all works, and it will obviously adjust everything based on that. Your customer voice, so this is about messaging and about branding, and there's some useful data here. You've got attribution, so everything in Meta ads, Google, TikTok, all the campaigns that are running. You have the first touch, the last touch, linear, time decay, positions based. This will all be very familiar to you if you've ever done paid advertising. The last option is action plan. So if I click on go to ledger, because there's nothing here yet, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing with this, so this might require some more playing around, some more clicking around, but let's just see what this does. So this has been added to the plan. Let's see what it comes back with. So here you go. This is it here now, and you can start this. So this is now in progress, which is assigned returns process to support with a weekly volume target. And the ask Cardinal, which is the AI aspect of what I asked it to do, does work. So let's see if it brings anything back. And yeah, it does return some really useful information. So all in all, yeah, it's done a really good job. It's delivered on the brief. Now for GPT 5.6, and on first impressions, it doesn't look too bad. I like the colors, the layout is kind of a mix of dark and light mode, which I think is very interesting. What I did notice is that some of these links, in fact, most of these links aren't actually working. So you have campaigns here, and it just goes back to the same dash. So click on audience, hasn't differentiated anything, voice of customer, opportunities, and then these 2 links don't even work at all, reports and data. So that's obviously a big problem. But in terms of what it's tried to build, I like it. I like the concept. It's obviously an AI intelligence dashboard for paid marketing campaigns. And I like the colors that they've used as well. But all in all, it does need work to make this a functioning dashboard. After 3 tests, cloning an existing product, creating something viral, and building a real business application, we have a winner, GPT 5.6. The thing that surprised me wasn't the coding. Both models can write code. The difference was the decisions they made. The small details, the user experience, the colors and the branding, the extra things I didn't ask for. And that is what separates a good AI coding model from a great one. But more importantly, there is one fundamental difference. Whilst I was doing these tests, I kept hitting the Opus 5 usage limits. And so I had to break up what I was doing between a 5-hour window. Now, obviously, if you're doing this in a production environment, for yourself or for your client, or you want to build something that you want to sell in the future, this isn't very practical. Like, I can't just wait around for the usage limits to reset. And because of that one reason alone, I will always use GPT 5.6. Because with OpenAI, There are no limits. Now, this is just one test, so I wouldn't say one model is automatically better at everything. Different models have different strengths. But if you want to see more real-world AI experiments like this, smash the subscribe button, because the only way to know what these models can actually do is to put them through real challenge. And the next obvious test is going to be Opus 5 versus other frontier model. And if you enjoyed this video, watch the next one on screen. Thank you so much if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next one.